Some people say that getting older is actually a blessing. However, even as holistic girlies, I think most of us agree that we feel the opposite. And so we're going to break down today all things anti-aging, reversing your biological clock, longevity, and so much more. This is my upcoming motto, what I'm calling Project 40. So I'll be breaking that down for you today. And I think it's time for a little catch-up session, my holistic soul sisters. It's been a little radio silent over here on the podcast, but we're going to sit down today and talk about what I'm going to be doing in the final year of my 30s to prepare me for my 40s and how I can really make sure that I'm always feeling as young as possible. Welcome to the Holistic Soul Sisters Radio, a channel created to help you heal holistically and grow spiritually. I'm your host, Mandy Rose. I'm not afraid to talk about taboo subjects, so nothing is off limits here. Make sure you hit subscribe and get ready to learn more from me and other experts on all things health, spirituality, astrology, lifestyle, relationships, and so much more. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Let's begin. So this is my official birthday episode. If you've been around for a while, I believe this is the 5th year that I've done a birthday podcast. One year I talked about my mottos for life, my top 10 mottos for life that I live by. I did one on mindset. I have done so many different themes, but this one is really, really special to me. And like many of my holistic soul sisters, you're probably around my age, late 30s, and moving towards 40 can be a little scary. However, I'm really excited about it because I feel like my 40s are going to be my best decade yet. Now, no matter your age, my holistic soul sister, this podcast episode is going to really help you and inspire you to take control of your health. And I'm also going to share a couple little life hacks, anti-aging hacks that I have in my calendar for my upcoming year so that when I turn 40, I truly am cellularly, physically, and mentally feeling as young as possible. So I think we really need to start out this episode with a catch-up session. It's been a while since I've been here on this podcast. 2025 has been a wild roller coaster. So if you are curious and interested about my life, working at the clinic, what's been going on with my health, as many of the things that I do tend to put me in the guinea pig situation, so I know what works, so I can recommend it to my clients. That's what we're going to talk about first. If you're like, you know what, give me the good stuff, the meat and potatoes, I want to get into what this Project 40 biohacking, longevity, anti-aging thing is all about, you can just go to the timestamp listed in the description box for all that good stuff. So, my holistic soul sisters, how are you doing? 2025 has been absolutely wild for so many people. Now, we can explain that to the astrology, but that's another part of my life and another YouTube channel. So if you're curious about that, go over there to the Relational Astrologer. But what I want to talk about is the fact that our world is getting wild. And so our health is more important than ever. This is something that I've been recognizing within myself, within my family, within my soul sister group, and the community at large. We have gone through so many things as a collective, from the pandemic to inflation to not having a good source of healthy foods like fruits and vegetables. Like, the world is getting rough out there. And so it has been a huge topic of conversation that I've had with many people, where it's time to take your health into your own hands and to stop giving your power away to doctors, to farmers, to other people to save you or to put you back together again. And so this is a huge philosophy of mine and why I'm so serious about my health. But it hasn't always been this way. In my 20s, I was wild, like many of you. I think many holistic soul sisters, we are reformed party girls. Like, our 20s, we went buck wild. Many of us smoked cigarettes or drank on the weekends or drank every night. We partied in college. We ate mac and cheese and Taco Bell and all the things. And now in our late 30s or moving into our 40s, things are catching up to us. Now, unfortunately for me, because of my genetics, I have the MTHFR genetic mutation. If you don't know what that is, go down the rabbit hole. I might do a whole podcast episode on that coming up because it's severely impacted my life. And it's something I wish I would have known about in my 20s, because I would have made a lot of different lifestyle choices back then to prevent all the damage I'm reversing now. But with all of that being said, in our 20s and 30s, we can be a little sassier, right? It's at the end of our 30s that we start to notice, hangovers last longer, our hair starts to get more fragile and brittle, our skin gets a little bit more wrinkled, we're more sensitive to the sun, etc., etc. And so this is something for me that's just heightened as I'm a very energetically sensitive spiritual being. And the more that you awaken to your energetic body, the more sensitive you are to dense physical things like heavy metals and toxins, etc. So as I've kind of navigated the last year, let's kind of wrap it up with, what's been going on. This last year has been kind of this wake up moment where all the things that you want to do for your health have been put on the back burner too long. And that's for most of us, right? We went through the pandemic and we recognized, oh gosh, I should probably take care of my health. But then we got back to work. Or, oh gosh, groceries are so expensive. I should start growing my own vegetables, but I'll do that later. I'll do it next season. I'll do it next summer, right? Like we just push it all off until there's that like come to Jesus moment with our health. And for a lot of people, that tends to be a diagnosis, needing medication, just surprising, unexpected things happening to us. And then we wake up. But for me, it's like, it's always there. I already know these things, right? And I'm always trying to stay one step ahead, but I'm still a human, right? And so the last year really for me has started to catch up to me. All the things I said I've wanted to do for my health have been thrown in my face. Now it's in my astrology, it's in my birth chart. So I'm taking it seriously. And this is where I'm coming up with something I'm calling Project 40, which we'll get more into in just a moment. But I want to kind of share a little bit of how it came to this moment. So you guys know I do all the things, right? I do things that other people haven't even heard about, like certain IVs, like homeopathy, like PMF mats, red light therapy. Like I've been doing all the biohacking things, which if you go back in this podcast to previous episodes, every single year, my episodes are about anti-aging, feeling younger every single year. Because essentially, going back to what I said, is our 20s, my 20s, we're party girl mode. And I'm still detoxing out a lot of those poor decisions. So the last year, I've noticed some things kind of creeping up. I'm 39, I'm going to be 39, so this was 38 since last year's birthday. I've started to get gray hairs, which is like, what? I'm only 38. I've started to notice that my cellulite or dimpling of the skin in my fascia is getting worse, and I'm very thin. So if I have a little bit of fat deposits or cellulite, like it's going to be very recognizable. I've also noticed that my flexibility has gotten absolutely terrible. Like my knee pain has gotten so bad. I've never had knee pain. My elbow has started to creak. Now I broke it when I was a kid, but it's starting to get arthritis, which I'm 38. We don't want that. My hormones have gotten completely wonky. Now, they've always been off. I had a doctor tell me at age 27 that I'm perimenopausal, which, again, my genetic mutations and all the partying, like it made sense, right? Low progesterone, high cortisol, high testosterone, like many, many of you, my holistic soul sisters. But turning 38 has really like turned the dial up on that, where I'm having to get my hormones in check quicker than ever as I turn almost 40. So some of these things started creeping up and I kept telling myself, I'm sure like you have, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'll start stretching at night. I'll go back on a paleo diet. I'll cut out alcohol, which you guys know I've done so many times, right? I went 444 days without alcohol once as an experiment. I documented it here on this podcast. So I've been doing all these things in my mind, but then it doesn't actually physically happen. Right? That's just how it rolls because we're busy and 2025 has been lifing. And so my birthday is August 31st. And I said, this is my line in the sand moment. I'm going to take all of my knowledge as a holistic health coach, working with clients for 10 years, as a classically trained homeopathy practitioner, root cause practitioner for 20 years. I started learning when I was 18 years old in Germany, to now working at the integrative clinic for over a year. I have all the knowledge. I have dabbled into everything. I have done a lot of different modalities. I know what to do. I need to put it in a nice, beautiful, pretty package with a beautiful bow, with some deadlines and some clear instructions on what I'm going to be doing and when and how long and why and all the things, so that I can take 365 days to actually see a massive transformation. And so, no matter your age, my holistic soul sister, I hope this episode inspires you to have your line in the sand moment. And I'm going to be documenting all of this. I'm literally going to be showing up on my TikTok and my Instagram, Holistic Soul Sisters. You search it, I'm sure you're going to find me. And I'm going to be doing an update video every week, what I'm doing. So if I'm doing a new protocol, I'm doing a new detox, I've added in, different things, you'll know, so you can kind of follow along. I'm going to do educational videos, why I'm doing this, what it helps the body with. I'm going to be doing all sorts of different things so you can not only follow my journey, but you can walk behind me step by step. I'm also going to be doing a free challenge to kick off my 39th year. And I'm inviting you to join me. If you haven't heard about it yet, I'll be posting all over social media. It is for the high functioning, high performing woman. Whether you're a mom, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're in corporate America, you're probably stressed and you're probably doing too much of the wrong things. You're taking too many supplements that don't even work. You're probably trying to cram in way too many self-care things that aren't efficient. You're probably trying to take care of everyone in your family except for yourself. You're doing too much. Less is more. Because babe, you're a Ferrari, not a beat up Honda Civic. We need to start treating your body like that. So go to the social media profiles, TikTok or Instagram, Holistic Soul Sisters. I'll link it all in the description box. We're going to be kicking off that challenge Labor Day weekend. My birthday is August 31st, so let me get through my birthday weekend, and then we're going to be jumping in. Free challenge. I've never done anything like this, but it's going to be very helpful and going to be action-packed for you to make changes where you're going to be doing less that's actually going to have more of an impact, because that's the goal. I'm not the coach to tell you to rest more, sit down, quit your job, stop momming. Like, that's not possible. So we got to be putting gas in our Ferraris and not the cheapest fuel for our little beat up Honda Civics. Because, girl, it's time. Holistic Soul Sisters, it's time. Because again, the world is getting wild. You need to be strong. You need to be healthy. You need to take the power and the control into your hands, because no one is coming to save you. So let me be your guide. Let me walk 2 steps ahead of you on Project 40, and you can call it Project 28, Project 29, like whatever year you're going to be, call it whatever you want. So the last thing I want to say in this little intro segment is my journey at the Integrative Clinic. I had a podcast episode that I posted last year in July talking about energetic medicine, root cause screening, what I was going to be doing. I had just gotten the position at the clinic, and now I've officially been there for an entire year. I have helped dozens of clients, probably over 100 in the last year, get to the root cause of their health concerns. It has been so fun to play detective, to look on an energetic level, on a cellular level, on a DNA level. What is holding back their body from healing itself? Pathogens, heavy metals, inflammation, hormones, gut issues, nutritional deficiencies. Like, it's been a wild ride. I am so obsessed. I'm so passionate about it. Now, with adding that to my plate, this is where I've put so much of my own health on the back burner. Driving to Tampa, 3 hours round trip in the car each time I go to work, when I've primarily, since the pandemic, worked from home, where I'm giving and pouring so much of my energy into clients back to back to back, and not eating, not hydrating, where I've been a little bit more stressed, like in a good way, and like full of joy, full of passion, working all the time kind of way. But I know, like you, my sisters, is you get home at the end of the day, you are starving, you grab whatever's in the fridge, you haven't prepared, you're way behind on your supplement routine, and then you just make poor decisions because you're hangry, and then you lounge around because you're exhausted, and you don't get your activity in, and you don't stretch, and you don't want to do anything, and you just numb out with TV because your brain is shot, right? And I started noticing I'm falling into that pattern, the pattern that all my clients are in, that I help coach them out of, but here I am stuck in it. And so I've loved the clinic. We're growing, we're expanding. We do nutritional IVs, we do ozone therapy, we're going to be doing peptides, we're doing PRP. Like, I have access to some of the top regeneration scientific breakthroughs by working at that clinic. And I'm going to start using them, and that's what I'm going to be sharing. That's what I'm going to be talking about. So follow me on that journey. And with all that, let's get into what I'm officially calling Project 40. And so when I decided, line in the sand moment, I'm turning 39. If I don't get it together now, it's going to be harder to get it together later. So no matter your age, if you are listening, you're one of my holistic soul sisters that's in her 20s, or maybe you're already in your 50s, it doesn't matter what age you are. Biologically, we're talking cellularly, we're talking science. The older we get, the more our body starts to break down because we stop producing certain amino acids, we stop producing collagen, we stop absorbing food, and therefore become malnourished and nutritionally depleted over time. And so what happens, I want you to think of someone who's a little bit older. Think of your grandparents. Think of someone you know that is older. They are less hungry. They eat less food. They eat less calories. Why? Because their digestion starts to slow down, or they don't break down food as well. What happens if we don't eat enough calories? And that is like, let's say you go from eating 2,000 calories a day down to only 1,200. But those 1,200 calories aren't nutrient dense. They're not fruits and vegetables and beans and nuts and legumes. They're chips and a burger and some fries, right? Not only are you getting less calories for less energy, but you're getting less nutrients. And then your digestion breaks down. We have all gut health issues. Everyone's got gut health issues, right? It's just part of planet Earth and the toxins in our food. Then you don't absorb your nutrients. That's to say if you're even eating nutrients in the first place. So what happens? You become malnourished. When you become malnourished, your body has less building blocks to build and repair. And that is the aging process, my sister. That is what we are trying to prevent. That is what we are trying to reverse. We are trying to rebuild our nutrient stores so that our body has the foundational building blocks to fix things, right? And also, by nature, our hormones start to get off, right? Because we're less fertile. And the minute your body feels stressed, the body goes, this is not a safe world to raise children in, so we're not going to be fertile. So we have tricked our bodies into believing with our high stress lifestyles and our overstimulated days, with all the conversations and all the TV and all the noise, we don't hear the birds, we don't hear the breeze, we don't hear the ocean, we don't hear nature. And now our body has been tricked into believing that it's not a safe world out there. And it's kind of not, right? But that creates infertility. And no matter your age, it trains your body with a hormonal response to not have normal cycles. Now that's not good because as women, we need to feel juicy, whether we're 40, 50, 60, like we want to feel good. We want to still live life long past our ancestors. They got to age 45 and it was okay if they weren't fertile and they weren't feeling juicy because that was old age. But we have women in our 60s, when we all get 60, 65, 70, we want to be living a vibrant, juicy life. As we enter into the fourth quarter of our lives, we want to enter into that quarter with muscle mass, being able to bend down and tie our shoes, by being able to take care of ourselves, to be able to digest food. But if we aren't able to do those things, we are more likely to need assistance and go into long-term care facilities. We have toxins being thrown at us every moment of every day. It's a fact living on planet Earth. And so we have to protect the organs, the kidneys, the liver, the brain, the heart, so that they have a longer life. We can drive our Ferrari down the road faster and longer to a destination further away. But if we neglect to change the oil and change the tires and clean out the cup holder once in a while, you know what I mean, sisters? You know what I mean? Things start to break down. And we don't want to enter into the fourth quarter of our life that way. And so good news, if you are later in your years, it's never too late to start reversing some of these things and to get things back on track. And if you're younger, to remember that this is the destination and how do you want to enter that race? Okay, this is the mindset. This is Project 40 for me, but call it your project. So when I started really coming to Jesus moment with all of this, I said to myself, when I turn 40, my goal by then in 365 days is to detox out my 20s and 30s, to detox out the damage I've done, to detox out the memories the stored emotions, the things I've been holding on to for way too long. You can call it generational trauma, childhood trauma, whatever. I don't care. I'm not here to label it. I'm just telling you energetically, when I turn 40, I'm letting that go. I'm feeling lighter emotionally, energetically, and definitely physically. And so I wanted to call it Project 40 for that reason. I'm calling it my healthiest era. And I had to break that down into some categories. So I have a whiteboard here. I'm going to actually put it up on the screen. I'm going to this is kind of what my whiteboard looks like. But we'll put it on the screen so it's a little bit easier. If you're listening to the audio version, you're going to see that whiteboard and everything else on social media. So you can just follow along audio wise. But I decided I'm going to break it down into 4 categories: body, biology, brain, beauty. So let's break down each one of those and what it means and how I'm going to be working on that in my upcoming year. Body, pretty obvious, right? Some things I'm working on for my body, the physical body. Number 1, more muscle mass. If you know who Dr. Gabrielle Lyons is, first of all, I have a total girl crush on her. Every time I see her, I'm like, oh, yes, I love her. But it's not just how she looks. She looks strong. She looks fit. She looks beautiful. But it's all the things she says, her wisdom. And she says that women, we lose our muscle mass so fast. And you need to get it together and have as much muscle mass as possible. Because that's what's going to keep us alive the longest. It's going to help us be less insulin resistant. It's going to help us in so many biological ways. Dr. Tina talks a lot about this as well, if you follow Dr. Tina. So number 1, I'm going to increase my muscle mass all over my body. And I mean, I've got pretty good muscle definition, but that's because I'm tinier. It's not the mass that I want yet. I really want to feel fit. And every single year we get older, we have less biological capability to put on muscle. So it's harder in your 50s than it is in your 20s. Number 2, flexibility. Okay, flexibility. As we age, being able to bend down in tire shoes, being able to move your body in certain ways. This helps for multiple different reasons. Longevity for sure, but it also helps open up the energetic channels in your body and allows the blood flow to move through your system. Flexibility prevents you from having back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, headaches, like being able to be flexible and malleable. And so many benefits. We could, again, have a whole episode on each one of these topics, and maybe I will. Maybe that'll be part of Project 40, where I will really dive into each one of these specific as I start addressing them. And I will definitely be talking about them all on social media and taking you on that journey, like I said. Number 3, fascia and lymph. Now, they're not the same thing, but they kind of have the same purpose. Our fascia is the interconnected web, and when it gets tangled up, one, chemical messages cannot pass through your system. So the hormones, the neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, like all the electrical stuff can't get sent to the different organs because the fascia is stuck. This happens when you're in the same position too long. So you're sitting at your desk all day and things are balled up. You're sitting on your butt, things are getting balled up. You are laying in bed. That happened to me when I was sick with mold. I was laying in bed for 9 months, inactive, immobile, and all my fascia tightened up. And I have not worked on it actively, consistently to unravel that fascia. And this is why we have cellulite. So I'm going to be working on my cellulite. I'm using fascia blasters. I'm going to be doing a lot of foam rolling. I'm going to be using different oils and essential oils to help open up that fascia network. Smooth out my skin. Get rid of the bumps and the dimples. Like, I ain't afraid of saying I'm vain. I know you are too, my sister. Like, you want to look and feel good. But cellulite has negative side effects when it comes to your health. It is not just the way it looks. It's showing that you have toxins stored up in a tight fascial network. And that has negative repercussions on your health and your mindset, obviously, because if you don't like the way it looks, it's going to make you feel some type of way. So let's fix it. Let's address it. We can do that. And then the lymphatic. The lymphatic is your waste removal system. There is no way you're going to detox that you are going to feel healthier unless you address your lymphatic system. And so we'll be doing a lot of that. That'll be dry brushing, that will be sauning, that will be rebounding, like actively making sure that I am not bloated, I am not puffy, things are not building up, especially as we get older women. We are really cautious about our breast health where there's a lot of lymphatics. And if that gets stuck, that can lead to toxic waste piling up in an area where we don't want toxicity, right? And then even down in the pelvic region and in your gut. And then the lymph the lymph in the brain is called the glymph. If the lymph in the brain is stuck and stagnant with heavy metals from mercury fillings, from nasal cavities, like breathing in toxic air and pollution, that stuff gets stuck in your brain and that decreases mental cognition. We don't want that as we age either, right, my sisters? Next thing, number 4, postural rebalancing. Even as I'm sitting here with my legs crossed. This is not good for posture. This is jamming up my fascia, but this is now my natural posture because I've always sat like this. That's not okay. It throws my hips out of alignment, which throws my feet out of alignment, which throws my shoulders out of alignment, which messes up my atlas, right? Like my spinal cord. So I want to work on my posture. I want to be able to sit up tall, shoulders back, right? Everyone has these rounded, hunched shoulders. What happens when your shoulders are hunched? Starts to pinch your lymphatic channels, starts to clog up, your neck starts to round, you get this little hump on your back. I don't want to be like that as I get older because this is so easy to prevent. It is only my own fault if I age and look like this. So we are going to do something that I've wanted to do for 20 freaking years. I remember being 20 years old, sitting on my godparents' couch in Germany when I'd go home for the summers and I had the whole summers to do nothing. I wasn't working, I wasn't in school. And I'd always tell myself, we're going to work on our posture. Never did. We're turning 40. It's been 20 years. Let's work on our posture. That's going to be certain stretches. That's going to be going to chiropractic sessions. That's going to be actively in the gym, working on the small muscles, the ligaments and the tendons to rebalance our body. So we have beautiful, tall posture, shoulders that come back. We look good, we feel good, and things are working mechanically. This is the engine under the hood of your Ferrari, okay? Then, number 5, obvious here, diet. Going to be so consciously aware of my food, and I already am now, but I get sassy just like you, and I'm going to be really thinking to myself, sugar truly is poison, at least for me, and I'm sure it is for you. Sugar leads to glucose spikes, which lead to insulin resistance, which leads to wrinkles and all sorts of things that we don't want. Also, looking at foods that are a little bit more chemical, box foods, like I'm really going to work on the food portion, maybe growing some of my own herbs and vegetables. Like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to give it a try. Being more consciously aware of like local farms that use regeneration practices, that have grass-fed meat, like being very intentional. Not that I'm going to be perfect. I'm going to go back to paleo, mostly paleo for the whole year, and macro tracking, which leads me into the 6th thing under body category that I'll be working on. Is called body recomposition. Now, this is advanced. This is not going to be someone who's just getting healthy. This is something that I've worked on for 10 years. Body recomposition is turning fat into muscle, reproportioning your body, putting muscle on in certain spots so that you have an hourglass figure, and doing it in a way that literally makes you look like you have a completely different body. Think bodybuilders. And you use macro tracking to be able to do that, and building muscle in the gym in certain spots very strategically. And so body recomposition / macro tracking is kind of a part of that. And I'm very intuitive with my macro tracking. I've been doing macro calculations for over 10 years. I can look at something and almost like intuitively know if it's fitting into my macros. But for many people, that's a journey that you're just beginning. And you have to be very graceful with yourself, and you have to be very intentional on tracking. You have to see it as a game, like you have to gamify it. You have to understand that you're going to suck at it and you're going to fail at it. And I have a whole podcast episode talking about macros. And I also have an entire workshop on macro tracking in diet and all of that. So if you're just starting there, you can get that workshop. Again, I'll put it all in the description box. That's body. Category number 1. Category number 2 is brain. There's many different facets of this as I move through Project 40. Brain is going to obviously be like preventing Alzheimer's and dementia, mental cognition, clarity, focus, blah, 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 all the things. But it's also going to be a lot about my mental thought processes. Again, I've lived life. I'm almost 40. You have too, sister. I don't care if you're only 20, you've lived life. And we have memories that are stored in our brain. We have belief systems that we've been given by our family, by society. We have thought patterns that aren't our own, but we've been programmed by social media, by what our friends think. I am going to be detoxing out mentally my 20s and my 30s. Bad memories, gone. Limiting beliefs, reprogrammed. I want to move into my 40s literally mentally fit with cognition and clarity, but also with a different mindset. And so the first thing I want to do is reprogram my limiting beliefs. Now, I'll probably do this through many different modalities. And again, I'll be sharing that journey probably through some kind of therapy. I want to get back into therapy. I love therapy. I've been doing it pretty much my whole life. I went to college to get my bachelor in psychology, thinking I would eventually be a psychologist. So I'm fascinated by this. So reprogramming my beliefs, figuring out what's my beliefs, what's been others, that whole reprogram. Also want to detox out old bad memories. So closing up loose ends with people, saying my piece with people, moving on from relationships that are like mentally draining, that whole thing. Putting it to rest, putting it to bed, and going into my 40s, like everything is possible. Just because this happened to me in my 20s, I got sick with a thyroid issue, doesn't mean it's going to happen to me later in life. Just because I got divorced once doesn't mean that someone else is going to leave me again. Just because this happened in my childhood does not mean that my partner is going to do the same, right? Like these are all like fears and worries and stories. And I want to get rid of those stories. I want to create new stories and new beliefs. So that's a big part of it. Number 2, dopamine detoxing. I have been so cognitively aware of how effed up my dopamine system is. Scrolling on social media, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. Wanting to eat my food and scroll. Wanting to watch TV and scroll. Wanting to have a conversation with someone while doing something else. Watching a movie and writing in my journal. Like one task only should be enough. And finding dopamine hits that feel actually good. Like taking a bath, going for a walk with a friend, instead of these quick, short dopamine hits that leave you feeling unfulfilled and more addicted to more hits, quicker, faster, more colors. I have done this, and this has been already step 1. And again, like a lot of these things I've done. Now I'm taking everything I've practiced and I'm putting it into a plan. So everyone has their phone, right? And when you are scrolling at night with your regular screen, the colors are bright, the colors are vibrant, right? But that's what keeps you stimulated. That's what keeps giving you the dopamine hit. So what I have done is I put a filter on my phone at night. It is red, it is boring, it is plain. It is not colorful. If I'm scrolling, first of all, I'm not getting blue light in my brain, which is another part of this whole thing we'll get into in a second, is I'm not getting blue light. I'm getting red light, which is more soothing on the eyes and to the brain. But as I'm scrolling, everything looks muted. Everything looks dull. Everything looks one color. So I'm not getting all that sensory stimulation that is triggering my brain and exhausting it. It's exhausting it on things that don't matter. Our brain is a muscle and it needs calories, it needs energy, it needs electrical charge to function. And so you're like burning through the resource, burning through the resource, burning through the resource, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And then you wonder why you're freaking depleted. Use the gas in your brain's tank for things that are impactful, like creating a new business, like having a deep emotional conversation with your partner that takes a little bit more brain power, to have a deep conversation with your children that requires you to be mentally alert instead of wasting all the fuel. And so using this filter has been so monumentally helpful for that. So dopamine detox, number 2. Number 3 is nervous system. We forget that our brain and our nervous system work together to keep us safe. And so all the smells, the sounds, the light, the noise, the sensations, everything, it's data entry coming in. And then our nervous system gets overwhelmed because we do too much. We go too many places. We have too many conversations. We listen to too many sounds. You don't turn the TV off. You don't sit in silence. You don't just chill. And so the nervous system is always alert, 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 alert. And then it's hard to go to sleep. It's hard to just sit on your back patio and stare at the birds. It's hard to cuddle with your partner or be intimate with your partner because you're so revved up. So I'm going to be doing so much nervous system resetting, reprogramming. That is going to be with breath work. We have an amazing practitioner. Her name is Joanne, Cup of Joe on social media. She does breath work practices, working on nervous system destimulation, sitting in silence more, sitting in the dark more. So many things to just remind my body it's safe. Because guess what? If we would do all the detoxing and all the IVs and all the healing stuff, the red light, the cold plunging, none of it's going to work if your nervous system isn't calm. If you are not in rest and digest, you are in fight or flight. And the body cannot heal in fight or flight. So you want to 10x the efficacy of all the supplements and all the things that you're doing? Get into rest and digest. So that's a really big priority for me. And I think that's like some of the missing pieces of the puzzle, because I'm doing all the things. I'm missing the chill. And then the last thing is mental agility, really working on feeling smarter, right? I might try to learn a new language. I really want to get back to learning Italian, something I learned in college, and we're going to be going to visit Italy more often. So, working my brain a little bit more, reading a lot more, not just reading like fiction, but nonfiction, like stimulating my brain with book and paper versus just social media and scrolling, deeper topics, deeper curriculum. I also want to do a microdose mushroom journey, which is something I've talked about for a really long time. And microdosing mushrooms, again, reprograms the brain, rewires neural pathways. Mushrooms are great for increasing brain flow, like oxygen flow to the brain. More crossword puzzles. I used to love doing crossword puzzles. Like, I'm going to be incorporating so many things. So again, be sharing all of that on social media as I dive into it. So we've got body, we've got brain. Now let's talk about biology. Now the biology is very different. The biology, I'm talking about cellular level. I'm talking genetic coding. I'm talking about the energetics going on in each individual cell. The body, as you could tell, was more like the outer. The biology is more the inner, the foundation. And so the first thing I want to work on is my mitochondrial health. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. And if you've been around for a while, back in like 2017, 2018, the trend was parasite cleansing. Everyone talked about parasite cleansing. And then the last couple of years, it's been like biohacking, red light therapy, cold plunge, sauna, right? Everyone's been talking about those things. I promise you, coming up in the next couple of years, everyone's going to be talking about mitochondria, because we're starting to recognize in science how powerful the mitochondria is. And that's something I have talked about on this podcast for so long. Working on your mitochondrial health, and the mitochondria start to shut down when you have stress, when you have toxic overload, and when it doesn't have the nutrients it needs to function. And so that's going to come back to my diet and nutrition and all that I talked about. So for mitochondria, I'm really going to be working on red light therapy daily, working on different, detoxifications for the mitochondria. And I'll talk more about that. It could be a whole separate podcast episode. Number 2, for biology, I'm going to be doing stem cells. Now, this is so controversial, and I don't even know if I could be posting it on certain platforms, but stem cells are very, very powerful. And I've been having issues, like I said, with my knee. There's different parts of my body that have been damaged through different pharmaceuticals and medications, through lifestyle choices. And the clinic that I work at here in Tampa, we offer stem cells, and we use one of the highest quality labs that is available in the entire United States. And so they do so much testing, and I've witnessed so many of our patients at the clinic get stem cells, including our own doctor, and they've had remarkable results. So come along with me on that journey. I'm a little nervous, but when the time is right in the upcoming year, I will be doing it. Number 3, peptides. Oh my gosh, this is how, my sister, we are never going to age. Now that peptides are becoming a forefront kind of topic of conversation, it is only going to grow. And all peptides are amino acid building blocks from protein that our body usually makes on its own, but stops making as we get older. And so these labs have been able to recreate these amino acid branch chains so that our body has the things that it needs long after it's normally shut it down. Now, many people know some of the peptides as like the GLP-1s. A lot of people know NAD. There's so many different ones. And again, it's like hard to kind of talk about all this on social media and then like mass media, because I, again, don't know what would be censored or not. So a lot of this I'll be talking about like in a personal channel, in a Telegram. Like, there's so many ways that I've been wanting to talk about all this holistic health knowledge, but things get censored, things get shadow banned, things get shut down. And it's like, I have been preaching this stuff for years. I've had this knowledge for years. And I just need to figure out the platform where I can share these things freely, like some of these modalities that I'm doing. So probably in a Telegram chat. Again, I will be posting all of that here, so follow along, social media, all the things. So I can't wait to do the peptides. I have a couple that I've already kind of lined up in my mind. GHKCU, which is like a copper peptide, which helps with reversing gray hair, beauty, skin, all of that. NAD, which is our longevity, anti-aging. BCP 157, which bodybuilders have used for years to repair tissue in the body that's been damaged, like joint tissue. It helps repair the gut lining. It's just like a protein compound that our body makes naturally. Yeah, so I'm so excited about that one. Like that one, I'm ready. I'm just lining up the resources. And then number 4 for biology is cellular detoxification. So cellularly, things that are still weighing down my cells, working through the EBV, the Epstein Barr, which has always been an issue for me. Heavy metals is kind of like my next deepest layer. When you're doing detoxing, even for patients and clients that come to the clinic to get screened, we don't really address heavy metals till way down at the end of the road. And you guys know I've been doing parasite cleansing. I've been doing, all sorts of different cleansing and detoxing that it's been 7 years and I'm at that road. Like I'm done, I'm there, and I need to get into those deeper layers. So I'll be doing a hair mineral analysis to look at what minerals I'm depleted in, to build up my nutrients, and then doing some heavy metal detoxing, like different IVs and supplements and things to help pull the mercury out of my system. I still have some mercury fillings I'm going to get removed. I just got 2 removed, and then we will be mercury free, which I'm so excited. I shared a little bit about that journey already on social media. We'll be sharing a lot more. And like I said, just unraveling all the toxins. Plastics is going to be a really big one that I'm going to be focusing on as well, because we eat like a credit card of plastic a year or more now. And this is very disruptive to our hormones. And we have like these PFAS, these forever chemicals in our body. So like, I want to get down to that cellular level with heavy metals and plastics and chemicals. I want to do a pineal decalcification. I already have the supplements to decalcify the pineal gland in the brain, which is kind of cellular, working side by side. So I'll be sharing that. And then there's probably more that I'm missing, but as you can tell, there's a lot, And then the last category, which may or may not make me seem vain, but I don't give an ish, because we're still holistic soul sisters living on planet Earth, and we want to look good and we want to feel good. And a part of that is just feeling beautiful in our skin. And I've been a cosmetologist for over a decade. And so I am in the beauty industry. I have worked with estheticians, medical estheticians. I know the best products for hair, skin, and nails, for healthy, clean products for spray tans. Like, I got all this knowledge. I need to use it on myself. Because again, we always give to others before we give to ourselves. And so now it's like, no, I need the lasers. I need the treatments. And that's what Project 40 is about, right? Putting myself first in my health. So when I walk into my 40s, I'm like, it's about me. And I feel damn good. So beauty category, here's what we're going to be focusing on. Number 1, my hair loss and the graying of the hair that's still left in my head. I went through so much stress this year. It's been horrible. It started falling out in November. It's hard to tell because my hair is so long. So when I tell people, they're like, it looks like you have so much hair. I'm like, it's just long. But it would fall out, and it still does, in clumps. Like literally, I would like take a shower, and I would hate taking a shower because it would be all over the drain. Every time I touch my hair, like if I do it right now, I bet like strands will come out. It's been devastating. It's been 6-7 months, and I'm like, I know something's wrong. My thyroid's off, my hormones are off. I'm feeling it in other places. This is not an isolated incident. And so that's the thing too, my sisters, is if your hair is changing and your hair is falling out, it doesn't have to do with the hair. It's something internally that's wrong. So we're going to address the hair loss, and then we're going to take and do the right things to make this hair grow thick and lush more than I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had thyroid issues since I was 16 years old, Hashimoto's, autoimmune. And so I've never really had the hair of my dreams, but we're going to get it. And then for the graying, we're going to do a lot more. This goes back to the minerals, copper, minerals, calcification, kidneys, so we're going to be working with my acupuncturist and Chinese medicine doctor, my osteopath, which is a medical doctor, through blood work and testing to figure out like what I need so that I have an overflow of nutrients, and those overflow of nutrients go to my hair, skin, and nails. Number 2 in the beauty category is treating my acne scars. Since my 30s was filled with mold, right? My mold journey. Many of you guys know that story. I got acne scarring, terrible cystic acne from fungal overgrowth. And I still get it with hormones because I'm still figuring out my hormones. And so I want to detox off these acne scars. And there's a couple different ways I'm going to do this. One is going to be carboxy facials, some laser therapies, different modalities. So definitely want to clear up my skin, have beautiful skin, get rid of the 30s acne from the mold. Number 3, my style. I still have clothes in this closet that I wore in high school. Not even joking, okay? Clothes that I wore back when I had a different identity, a different personality. And now I'm like, I'm gonna be 40. I wanna feel classy. I wanna feel chic. I want my clothes to be luxurious. And most important, I need to detox out the microplastics. Like, I'm still wearing plastics. And I need to move through that. So I've already started accumulating more 100% cotton, organic cotton clothing, linens, hemp clothing. There's a great hemp clothing company, cashmeres and wools, and things that are just really luxurious, that are long-lasting fibers. So not only just the style and what I'm wearing, but also like the material of the clothes. Number 4, that kind of comes along with style, is doing a color analysis. So figuring out what my ideal color tone is as far as like the clothing, my makeup, my hair. Like, I've always been really good at doing my own makeup and like doing my own hair as a cosmetologist, but like I want like a professional kind of guide. Like, I'm going to the professionals. I've been life hacking for so long that I'm like, I need my acupuncturist to do her job. I need my chiropractor to do his job. I'm going to hire a physical therapist to help me with my posture. I've got my doctor. I've got my Chinese medicine doctor. I've got my homeopathy doctor. I'm going to hire a therapist. I'm going to hire someone for color analysis. Like, I'm going to have my breathwork practitioner. Like, it's time to outsource, and it's time to follow the highest mentors that already know their ish, right? And teach me everything they know. And then I'm going to teach you everything that I know. So that's, again, the benefit of following me on this journey. Okay, so where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 in beauty, PRP. This is something we offer at the clinic. This is incredible. PRP is platelet-rich plasma. Platelet-rich plasma. And this is where they take your own blood, your own plasma, they spin it, and they pull out the plasma, which has all the growth factors in it. This is the part of your blood that helps repair and regenerate. And then they take that very concentrated, dense dosing of growth factors, and then they inject it in the areas that need repair. So you can put this pretty much anywhere in your body. But what most people use it for is like cellulite, acne scars, scarring, stretch marks. In your face, you can do it in areas where you have wrinkles, and it will kind of like tighten and regenerate that tissue. So many uses, and I'm going to start doing that as well. So that's going to be an exciting journey. And then the last thing is focusing on the cellulite, which I kind of talked about with the fascia and the lymph. But again, just like super intentional with that as far as like being consistent with it, right? And recognizing that this has a bigger component to it. So I know there's probably going to be more that I add to this list. These are just kind of like the top things. I know it seems like a lot, and I don't want to overwhelm you if you're like, oh, I want to do these things. I want to have my best life. It is 365 days. A year is a lot of time to transform your health. And it doesn't mean when I turn 40, I'm going to be like, check, I'm healthy. I don't have to do another damn thing. No. I'm probably going to be doing some of these things for the rest of my life. Maybe not all the time, maybe more intermittently, but I want a head start. I want to be the Ferrari on the speedway that's like in the left lane way ahead of everyone else, so I can just coast, right? So I don't have to stop, start, or pull over and get my tires changed and see everybody lap me, right? Like, I don't want that. These tools are available. Our body can heal. We just need to know what we're doing and be intentional and consciously aware of the choices that we're making in micro moments so that the big moments look dramatically different. And it's my line in the sand moment. And so I know I just rambled on, maybe even overwhelmed you. Don't be overwhelmed. Be excited. Be excited that you can do some of these things too. Some cost a lot of money. Some are practically free. So thank you, my holistic soul sister, for being here on this journey and also inspiring me. Because a lot of what I do is to gain my own experience, again, be my own guinea pig, so I can help you, so I can help more people. So I hope to help you in the free challenge. I hope to help you at the clinic if you want to get to the root cause and you want to do one of our screenings. I hope to help you just through my social media. So if you see anything pop up around Project 40, could you do me a solid and like it, share it, comment, do something to start putting it out there in the world? This is, an obvious request that I'm sure so many content creators ask. But when you have heart and soul and you're just one woman, it's like it takes our whole village, it takes our whole community of sisters to spread this far and wide. I'm sharing with you something like mitochondria. You might share that video, and your sister, your old friend, your coworker, someone that you care about, that you want to see win, that you want to see get healthy, who's been struggling and sharing their struggles with you, sees that reshare, sees that repost, and it sparks something in them. It gives them knowledge to also move forward in their health journey. And we do this all together. Women help other women. So it would just mean the world to me, so we can keep sharing and continuing this journey. And I look forward not only Project 40 for my own health and my own longevity, but one of the things I didn't mention that is super important to me is the relational aspect. And I'll probably, I didn't want to make this a whole separate category, but I'll probably talk more about this, where it's really about, like I said, cutting up loose cords in old relationships, being very clear and direct with people that I no longer want in my life to stop contacting me, to have conversations with current friends and tell them my expectations for our friendship in a clearer, healthier way, to have conversations with my partner about what it is I want moving into my 40s, and spending more time in the relationships that matter to me. Calling my best friends, calling the people in my life, making room and time and space for connection and sharing. And part of that is going to be our holistic soul sister community. I really love when I can gather with like-minded women, and I'm sure you felt the same way. Being a holistic soul sister is its own category of friends. It's the people that you can talk to about weird conspiracy theories. It's the people that are going to order the organic food off the menu side by side with you and not make you feel weird for it. It's the ones that share their information, their research, their knowledge with you to keep teaching you about the holistic lifestyle or spiritual lifestyle. Women that are on a high vibrational frequency because they've detoxed out low vibrations. And so I want to do a lot more community events in the upcoming year that's going to help my soul, and it's going to help our community grow, and it's going to help each one of you individually find more resources and connections with people, because I truly believe, going back to one of the first things I said in this episode, the world is getting weird and we need our tribe. We need our network, and we need to stay strong together. So we stay individually strong by working on our own health. And then we stay collectively strong by building these intentional connections with people who are like-minded and that we know have resources to help us and our families on our journeys. And so stay tuned for that. I'm not even sure what that's going to look like, if we're going to do in-person events in Tampa, if we're going to do more online stuff, if we're going to do more retreats. Be a lot of good things. And then bringing the practitioners together, all the people I know that I mentioned, like the therapists, the breath work, the doctors, like getting them in a room or getting them in a way where you can also be introduced to them. Because that's what I've been doing on this podcast for years. The primary practitioner episodes, if you haven't caught them, go listen to them. Some of the most intelligent women, the most intelligent practitioners I know. And I have so many more that I want to introduce you to and interview on this podcast. So I'm going to be more intentional about that as I quit the scrolling, as I cut out the things, as I start to feel healthier. I'm going to have more energy to pour into this passion project of Holistic Soul Sisters and this officially trademarked brand in the upcoming year. So all that to say, last thing, if you feel called to work on your health more than just following me on my journey and duct taping it together for yourself, is I officially started in 2025, the laboratory. And many of you have already entered into the laboratory. And what it is, it's an experience where every single month we work on a different facet of your health. And so we kicked off in January with becoming the CEO of your own health, starting a health binder, how to advocate for yourself at the doctor, what kind of blood work you should get, how to make sure that you are in control and in power of your health. And then number 2, in February, we went into strong health foundations. The air that you breathe, the water that you drink, the food that you eat. Then we went into liver love. So detoxifying your liver and loving your liver, which loves your hormones and loves your body and your skin. We're going to be moving on to the rest of the year from September to January, a beautiful program in the laboratory that is going to be very much a reset. So if you are curious about the laboratory, it's application only. I wanted to make sure it's a good fit for you. The community of women are so great and so supportive. So we'll be reopening enrollment into the laboratory in September. It is month by month, so you can enter into the months and the themes that match for you. If you missed a month, like Strong Health Foundations, and you're like, I want to get caught up on that one, you can do that as a program. It is a course that you can do inside the laboratory or not even entering the laboratory. It's like its own module. It's its own course that you can purchase at any point in time. And you can come in and out as you need. But I'm going to really inspire you and invite you to do our 6-month laboratory program experience and move into 2026 strong, healthy, fit, vibrant, all the things that we work on together. So more info on that, feel free to message me. We can chit chat, my holistic soul sister. I adore you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Share this episode with someone you love. I'll see you in the free health challenge, and I will see you on social media. And we will begin Project 40 on September 1st, the day after my 39th birthday. All right, my holistic soul sisters, until next time, keep healing holistically and growing spiritually. Bye.